On the next McDougall MD, we'll clear up the mystery about proper nutrition for kids.
Join Mary and me right here.
This is Hello Channel.
What do you feed your kids? Are you confused by all the hype about what's best for them? Dr. John will clear up the mystery about what's good for kids and what's not. Then the Love Boat's Jill Whelan will tell us what she does to keep herself and her child healthy. Plus, we'll show you how to make great tasting, nutritious sandwiches for your child's lunchbox. I'm Mary McDougall, and you're watching McDougall MD.
Good.
Hi, Joan.
Oh, how cheerful this morning.
I am. Thank you. Oh.
Well, Mary,
Yes.
every parent should know what to feed a child.
Yes.
Yeah, but there's all kinds of confusion, and as a result, the kids don't get started out right in life.
And what do you think the major confusion is, John?
Well, I think it starts with the problem of not knowing whether they ought to breastfeed or not.
Oh, really? Because breastfeeding is it's back. It's popular. It's
Well, you'd think so. You'd think so. But actually, if you look at the surveys, it's kind of down. Breastfeeding is so essential for the baby to get started right in life. And unfortunately, they're sabotaged right from the time that they're in the hospital. What you find is the nurses and the doctors, they don't really encourage breastfeeding, most of them. Now, there are exceptions. You have the infant formula industry in there passing out formulas.
Right at the hospital.
Right at the hospital.
True. I got some of that.
Giving the message that this is an easier way to do things. But if mothers really knew how important it was to breastfeed, then they would not do that. A breastfed baby has much less risk of infections. Infections of the ear, infections of the intestinal tract. As a matter of fact, there's one...
Builds up the immunity, doesn't
Yes.
it? I've heard that a lot.
Breast milk it's living tissue. It's living fluid. It's got all kinds of antibodies and cells in it, all kinds of things that
Good
protect.
stuff.
Absolutely essential. It decreases the risk of infections, which is really important. And as a matter of fact, if you bottle feed a baby, the risk of that baby ended up in the hospital during the first year of life is 5 times greater than a breastfed baby.
Is it really?
Now, I'm going to tell you...
Because my mother didn't breastfeed any of us. Well, and there are 4 of us kids.
Well,
so.
if she would have been encouraged, I think, and if she would have been given the facts, I think
Yes,
she probably would have.
I think she probably would
Now, let me give you another fact. Now, this one upsets people an awful lot.
And that is?
Because they feel very guilty when they hear about this, particularly if it's happened to them. But the truth is, if you bottle feed a baby, then the baby has 2 to 4 times the risk of suffering from crib death.
Oh.
SIDS. And that's a terrible thing. I mean, even if you only saved 1 baby just by breastfeeding, it would be worth it to that family, because it's just an absolute disaster to have something like that happen in a family.
There are so many organizations now too that are there and willing to help women with breastfeeding. And there's so many.
Well, you have the
books, and
Leachy
there's a lot-
League.
Yeah,
Right.
so everybody can reach out.
It should be part of the pregnancy training that somebody gets getting ready for delivery.
It was part of mine. Was it part of yours? Anybody? Yeah. Some people, yes. Some people, no. Yeah, that's good.
Intelligence. You know, this is the one that I wish my mother would have known about. Intelligence. I would have had Larry King's job, I think. Unfortunately.
But then you wouldn't be here with me.
Unfortunately, she only breastfed me for 3 weeks, so I'm here with you, which is good. But the intelligence of a child is increased. The language skills are improved. So you know, you have a difference in the relationship with the baby, and a lot of people say that that's not true. They say bottle-fed babies are just as loved, just as good a relationship, and to me, I can't relate that a container of glass and a rubber nipple is the same thing as what Mother Nature has to provide. It just doesn't seem the same at all. But some people seem to think it is.
Experience.
So it's really important that women are taught, and the whole family is taught, the importance of breastfeeding, and everybody supports it. Now, breastfeeding should continue, Mary, for 6 months.
For 6 months,
exclusively.
at least.
And the American Academy of Pediatrics says that. That's not just something that I'm recommending. They say you should exclusively breastfeed, and that means no bottles of water, no bottles of juice, no
Really?
formulas.
Nothing
You see,
for
because
6
if you
months.
give these bottles to the baby takes this rubber nipple that has a big hole in it, and the baby doesn't have to hardly work at all to get the fluid out.
We've
and so
heard
the babies
about
are
that
lazy.
nipple confusion.
The babies are lazy, and just like everybody, they want the easy way out. And so they go for the bottle, and the mother says, well, I don't understand why it is that the baby rejects me. It's because you introduced this bottle to the baby. And
it's much easier for them.
All right. So you keep away from any solid foods, any liquids, only breast milk at all, exclusively for 6 months. Now, at 6 months age, it's about the time when the baby develops teeth, which are for chewing, and enough coordination so the baby can reach out and grab food. And then what the baby will do is grab whatever's in your hand. So hopefully it's healthy things like potatoes and rice and not candy bars. And what you do is you start the child on solid foods at that time, but you continue the breast milk. The breast milk continues
along with it.
Right. A decreasing amount of breast milk and an increasing amount of solid foods until 2 years of age. And at 2 years of age, then you can wean the child. The child's intestinal tract, all the way from the teeth on down, is mature enough to survive on solid foods. Children ideally do best on starches, vegetables, and fruits, just like adults do. But kids often need a little bit more energy. And so what you can do is you can provide the child with some extra high-fat plant foods, like nuts if they're not allergic. You have to be careful because some kids are allergic to nuts. Seeds, seed spreads. You can have tofu, olives, soybean products.
You can make a little sandwich with that.
Yeah, you can make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. You know, that's a pretty healthy thing. A whole wheat bread and, of course, a non-hydrogenated peanut butter. And that's the way that you feed the child. And then sometimes mothers ask, well, how about all these other foods that my kids want? Like candy bars and ice creams and so on.
Well, yeah. How about those?
Well, you know, we've raised 3 children, Mary, and I have to tell you, the 3 kids that we raised, we taught them what proper nutrition was. We had the right foods in the home. And by the way, you have to have a lot of delicious foods in the house, too. You can't have just baked potatoes sitting there.
Right, they'll learn to appreciate, and that's what they'll crave.
So we had the right foods in the house. We taught them what proper nutrition was, and then we taught them that there was rich foods for special occasions. So our kids trick-or-treated.
So it's a treat.
Yeah, they went out and they got candy bars on Halloween. They had birthday cake and ice cream on their birthday. But see, we only had 5 birthdays a year in our home. Whereas, unfortunately, most families, they have a birthday every night after dinner.
Or dessert every night.
Every night after dinner.
We have to watch that. Those are good tips. Yeah. And we'll continue with some more good tips on this edition of McDougall MD. Next, we have the Love Boat's Jill Whelan.
I mean, I just feel like if you want an external change, you have to change on the inside first. And I think that that's what happened is I stopped placing such importance on the outside, and I concentrated on feeling good from the inside out in terms of what I was eating.
Give your children a brighter future. Watch Hello Channel.
Excited that Jill is with us today because she is like a little sister to me. And when she started on the Love Boat, she was really just a kid herself, as I was sort of like a big sister to her.
Did you grow up together?
We did. She's like a little sister to me, and I always try to give her guidance and advice. And now that we both have kids of our own, I know Jill is living in a healthy way and has a healthy diet, and she's trying to help her son.
She's interested in kids' nutrition too.
She really is, and so it's kind of interesting in this junk food world.
Was she always interested in good nutrition?
No, John, we used to have all these yo-yo diets that Jill and I did, these radical up and down, lose weight, gain weight diets all the time. And so now we both have come into the middle ground, a gray area where we're living more healthy lives, and now our kids will not have yo-yo diets because of everything we're doing, I think. At least I hope.
Well, if you teach them good nutrition, exercise, they won't have any need for it. You know, when people get into trouble is when they find this unsolvable situation, and that is if they satisfy their hunger drive, they get fat.
Yeah.
But if you find a way to eat where you can eat as much as you want of delicious foods, stay thin and healthy, then you're not put into that situation where you're always looking for one diet or another diet.
And moving on, it's true.
So you've got to teach your kids, the whole family, good nutrition, good health habits, and then they won't have to waste all that time looking for the miracle diet.
That's right. And hopefully we'll teach our kids how to eat more healthy foods in this junk food land. And now we'll go to Jill.
I feel like Jill is my sister and that we've grown up together.
We have.
Thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Since Jill and I spent so much time together in our youth, you know, John, we did all these crazy, wacky diets that don't work.
You know, by 4th grade, 40% of girls have already been on a diet.
Is that scary?
It's just,
That is such an amazing
and
statistic.
another
It's-
statistic is that if you look at people between the ages of 18 and 50, that half the people at any particular time are on a diet at that moment. So it's a problem. But you
That
have
was my
obviously
life.
you have obviously solved it, Jill.
Well, I solved it by not paying attention to it anymore. And I know that sort of sounds like a dangerous thing to say. But I mean, I just feel like if you want an external change, you have to change on the inside first. And I think that that's what happened is I stopped placing such importance on the outside, and I concentrated on feeling good from the inside out in terms of what I was eating. I took dairy out of my diet, basically because my boyfriend stopped eating
Do
dairy.
you feel better because of it?
I feel a great deal better, and also I find that I'm not getting sick as much as I mean, not that I got sick a lot before, because I was a pretty healthy eater, but even less. And
Do you exercise?
Yes, every day.
So good
So there
diet
was
and
that too,
exercise is your simple secret.
Yeah.
Probably won't make the national
Basic.
best-selling book list not with it, but
Well, that's 'cause-
hey, you know what works?
Because it's not a magic pill.
You
and
have a
that's the
great
thing.
interest in children, I understand.
Yes, very much so, because I have one. I have a 3.5-year-old little boy, so.
Do you have any thoughts on how you should raise little babies as far as good diet?
I'm not a doctor, so I really don't know, but I mean, I do believe that kids have to have calcium, and I'm sure you can get it in all sorts of foods. When he was a little baby, he just couldn't handle
How
regular.
about breast milk?
Well, he had that too, but it's the problem. Oh, it's such a
So
long
let's start
story.
over again.
It's such a long story.
It's very personal, John.
No,
sure
it's
you want to go
fine.
here?
You can go here.
Because breastfeeding is so important.
Well, I did all the breastfeeding, but we supplemented with soy milk. The problem was that my son was very, very underweight when he was born. He was just a little guy. He was only 5 pounds. And so my doctor had told me, well, you have to feed him every half hour. So, but it took him a half an hour to eat. So by the time he was done eating, it was time to feed him again. It was just like this whole thing. And I felt like, a Guernsey cow sitting in my bedroom, either pumping or feeding.
I want to mention this because we talked about, combining a healthy diet with exercise. But one of the things that we were talking about is with all the fad diets, as I don't want to get anybody to get confused, is that we actually don't diet anymore. There are no, like diets.
There's
or
no
any,
magic pill.
there's
And
no
there's-
magic diet, and that I know you don't diet specifically, but you have a healthy way of eating.
Listen, every
And
once in a
exercising.
while,
Yes.
I do always exercise, only because it makes me feel better. I feel more productive, and on the days that I don't, I feel
and you guys
really
are so
guilty.
young.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
So,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah, well, I think, it's probably a little bit different because there's such an emphasis, not only in our industry that we grew up in with how we look, but, and I think that we have found a balance between what the healthy way of eating is and combined with exercise.
Well, I think we put our bodies through so much turmoil, to such a feast or famine scenario that for a while it took our bodies a while to sort of go, okay, they're not doing this anymore. We're going to go into a sort of a normal place now. At least I know my body went through that adjustment period. But now, I used to fluctuate, 12, 15 pounds, which is
Terrible.
so incredibly unhealthy. And now, I mean, I fluctuate maybe 3, 5 pounds at the most.
Are you
And that's-
hungry?
Oh, God, no.
You get plenty to eat. That's good. I got to
Yeah.
get back to this kid thing. And you're
Yes.
dairy. Aren't you afraid that, some type of parent group or law enforcement agency will get after you, suggesting that you don't give dairy to little kids?
My son does get a little bit of dairy, and my reasoning is simply this. When he's in school, I'm trying to keep it as normal as possible. It's very hard for me as a parent to say to the teacher, okay, he doesn't have any dairy, so when kids are having birthday cakes, I don't want him having any of that stuff. When they have ice cream, he can't have that. If they're going to be making macaroni and cheese in school, he can't have that. I mean, those are things as a parent where I have to take that into account and say, what's the most important thing for my child? And I think number one is normalcy. However, when I'm at home with him, he eats what I eat. So he'll eat the tofu cheese, and he'll eat all the things that I eat, the vegetarian burgers, or, give
Well,
him
that
the
kind of
good
advice
moral.
would be good for any parent. I mean,
Yeah.
to eat healthy foods at home, teach the kids what good food really is, and then tell them, look, there are special occasions. There are birthday parties, there's Halloween, there's Christmas, and on those days we eat richer food.
If you start children early enough, I mean, I'm also the kind of a parent that I serve a wide array of culture foods as well. Then when he goes out into the world, he's going to have all sorts of things available to him that he's familiar with and that he's had at home. And it's going to be better. Hopefully he will make that choice rather than going to, a fast food place for a hamburger with
Well,
cheese.
what's great about it is that you're educating him, so he has the
Exactly.
knowledge and he knows how he feels with that. Thank you so very much, Jill, for being with us.
Miss Mary.
You are very welcome. And John and I will be right back after this break.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just say.
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 Just say. Hello.
You know, one of the things I get asked most is, how do I make lunches? Do you have any suggestions for quick sandwiches? What can I put in my husband's lunch or my kids' lunch? And you have some suggestions for us?
I have some great suggestions. You know, you can always do things like bean spread as a base, but then there are some other things that really make it special.
Well, what
the
are we
first one
making
we're
here
going to make
today?
today is an eggless egg salad.
An eggless egg salad, okay.
No cholesterol?
No cholesterol. It uses tofu as the base, and then you add these seasonings, and you mash it, and it comes out looking and tasting surprisingly like
egg salad?
yes.
Really? Now, what is this seasoning? This
That
is a little
is
bit
cilantro,
Ooh, cilantro, the weed. Wait, we could use these. The weed.
some onions.
And what is this?
That is dill weed.
This is dill weed, okay.
And this is a tofu mayonnaise.
Oh, okay.
But you have to make that, don't you?
You can
Tofu
make it. You
mayonnaise?
can also buy fat-free mayonnaises that are healthy. All right, let's
Okay.
scrape
Do
a
we
little
need
bit
to
of that
have
out.
A little
Yeah.
bit of that, okay. All right, and then we have
Okay,
some more
some-
spices here. Do you know
Some
what those are?
onion powder and garlic powder,
Onion powder.
and that's the
Garlic
garlic
powder.
powder. And then there's some turmeric, and turmeric gives it a yellow color.
Just
Oh,
like
really?
So
egg
it looks
salad.
like egg salad.
You know,
Oh, and then we
looks
have these
are
are
almost as important as taste when it comes to
celery.
food.
All right, and then
Well,
we're gonna
everything you make is
mash
always
it
so
up.
colorful, Mary. It always looks very yummy.
It almost looks like
And,
the egg whites in there, Mary.
It does look like egg whites.
It does.
But it's
Well,
not.
and even when you finish it up, and we bring out the finished product,
Ta-da! Here we go, the magic.
it looks,
Oh, so you really have, do you have to mash it a lot?
you have to mash it a lot, and so it takes on the consistency, but yet you look at it and you can see it almost looks like there are egg whites in it.
It does. Can you see this? It really does. Now, do you put it in the refrigerator for any certain amount of time? for
Yes,
it
you have
get-
to let it set for about an hour or two, and then the yellow color comes out. And the longer you let it set, the more yellow color comes out. And so by the time you make the sandwiches,
You could fool everybody.
fool
It's
everyone.
egg.
And the other one we're going to make is called a mock tuna spread.
Oh.
And it tastes very similar to, it has the consistency of like tuna fish sandwich.
Really?
Yes.
And what is our base
This
for that?
is garbanzo beans.
Oh, you're kidding.
And they have been mashed up. And again, we're going to add onion and celery.
then
And
is that
some
the
more of
same?
that same tofu or fat-free mayonnaise.
Right.
And then some green onions.
Green onions, and then we mix all this
Then we
up?
mix all this together.
And then do we put this in the refrigerator to set as well?
Yes.
For
This-
how long?
Oh, about an
and a
hour.
half? An hour?
Yeah. It doesn't need to, the flavors don't have to blend as much as they do with the egg salad.
Oh, so this is the mock tuna.
And they make wonderful, very substantial sandwich fillings.
Huh. And when
Okay.
you're all done mixing this up and you bring it out, here we go. I love this magic of
Isn't this
television
wonderful?
stuff. And then
now
you just
I'm going to make a little sandwich here.
and you just put it on, and you don't put any. There's no need for any other
No, there's
spreads
no
on
need.
it because it already has everything
It already
inside
has
of
everything in it.
But
And kids really like this,
They
huh?
do, yes.
They
you
really
put
do.
lettuce and tomatoes,
Lettuce
the
and
sliced onions. As a matter of
tomatoes,
fact, so one of the favorite sandwiches that we've had over the years is one just made with sliced vegetables, sliced lettuce, tomatoes, cucumbers, and sliced onions, not sliced lettuce. But sliced onions.
Sliced onions.
Yes.
Really, but
I'm gonna
my
put
daughter
some-
doesn't like onions. But if you start,
You know, onions are kind of an interesting food. They give a lot of people indigestion. But if you cook onions, then what happens is there's a substance in that boils off, and so you don't get the indigestion. There's a kind of a volatile substance that causes indigestion. So one of the tricks is to heat them in a microwave to get the substance to boil off, or in some other way cook them, boil them.
And you only have to cook them for just a few minutes
Yes.
to get that to happen.
so did you cook these, or do
No, there's
a lot
no
of people
onions
like
on
them.
these.
The
Oh, you mean the
scallions
ones in
and
the-
stuff.
no,
yeah, but a
no,
lot
I
of
did
people
not.
like them
Yeah.
raw.
But you can.
My daughter
You can
just
cook 'em.
doesn't.
Yeah.
You know, she just has that. It's just a strong taste for her. I think she says, "Spicy, mommy."
There are other things that we have at home that are really good, Mary, for for lunches. Like you can get these burgers that are made of soy protein, or they're made
Yes,
of
I've seen
vegetables.
those.
And I like the ones that are made of vegetable base better than the soy proteins. I get a little worried because of all that soy protein. It's so concentrated, so much protein for people to have to digest and to have to deal with in terms of the possibility of losing calcium from excess protein. We've talked about that. So, you know, if you're going to pick a burger, try to pick one that is mostly vegetable based, grains, other kinds of vegetables. And then you can have burgers. You put all
You
the-
just load it up
you
just
put your
like
favorite
everything else.
toppings
You
on.
put all your onions and your lettuce and your
Right.
tomato and everything.
Right.
Now, see, isn't that lovely?
That
And
is,
stuff
it's
it into
very,
a pita
it's really
bread.
pretty. It's really pretty.
Yeah, I'd
Wonderful
like an
sandwich.
instant soup with that too.
So, John, I just want to ask, or Mary, maybe I should ask you, and how many times does John come into the kitchen and actually make these kids sandwiches over the years?
Well,
this is a big question. Don't you
too
want to
often.
know?
Mary,
But he could do it if he had to.
I boil tofu hot dogs.
And he
So
knows
this
how
is
to
a
make
big
oatmeal, so
secret.
I mean, he can make a few things, but the sandwiches might be a little bit beyond it. But you know, if I had it all made up in the refrigerator,
He would do it.
which I often do, then you can come in and just put a sandwich together
Well,
very
that's
quickly.
the thing about this. And how long can you use this more than one day?
Oh, sure, this.
So if you just cover it up.
Oh yeah, they'll last for at least a week, both of them.
Oh, see, that's great.
So
Then
you can
do
make
it
them
more than
ahead
one
of
day in a row.
time, and then have your sandwiches ready for the next day.
Let me tell
Isn't
you
that
something that's
beautiful?
simpler.
It is. Look at this sandwich. And you know what? We are going to be back to actually eat these sandwiches in just a minute. So stay tuned. We'll be right back after these messages.
Learning English may be the biggest factor in the jobs you can get and the money you can earn. Hi, I'm Michelle, and I want to tell you about Hello Channel, an exciting new channel that teaches you English as you're watching TV. As you watch Hello Channel, you'll see, read, hear, and speak English, and before you know it, you'll be on your way to a better job and a brighter future. All you have to do is say hello.
And welcome back. We have guiltless egg salad, guiltless tuna salad to try.
I know I have to try this. Well, John, which one do you want? I'll share. I think well, since we have 3 of these, I'll try. This is the egg salad, right?
No, that is the tuna
Oh,
salad.
this is the mock tuna salad.
And this one is the egg salad.
Okay, I was going to tell you there's an easier way to do this. You go to the natural food store and they sell spreads like this right behind the counter.
That's true, they do.
See, so you said that I couldn't make my sandwiches. That's not true. I can't
yes,
too.
because John could go to the store and buy it.
Yeah. Right. Well,
Life is made so
it's not
easy
as not
these
as
days.
good as when you make it.
This
though,
is
Mary.
good.
Is that good?
I even like this. But I don't. No, it's really good. Well, this is very, very good. But I want to try this one too. Does anybody have this one?
Help yourself.
Oh, this one's. I like this one. Oh, I can't decide.
See, if you have things available for you and the family,
You'll just eat
then
that.
they'll be healthy. If you
It'll
don't
be
take the
much
trouble to
easier.
make things, get them in the refrigerator, no one's going to take good care of themselves. So that's the key. Put some effort into it.
It is. You just have to have it available. And if you would like to have these recipes, you can write to McDougall, MD, Box 320, Newberry Park, California, 91319. And we'd like to thank you, Mary McDougall, for being with us and cooking these yummies for us, and also Jill Whelan. Thank you very much. Tune in next time. Bye-bye, everybody.